It's really happening. Oh my gosh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uborei choshev oseh shalom uborei et hakol. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech atah Adonai Eloheinu melech atah Adonai Eloheinu yoseh shalom uborei Yoseh shalom uborei et hakol. Baruch shalom uborei et hakol. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Yoseh shalom uborei et hakol. Yoseh shalom uborei et hakol. Baruch shalom uborei et hakol.
Hey everyone, it's Sherry Grenfeld wishing you a very happy New Year, Shana Tova. I wanted to ask you to please join us for a Temple Bethel Humor Village that we're going to be having the first 3 Wednesday nights in November at 7 p.m. Jewish Humor Village, and we have a special guest lecturer from out of town on our Zoom. So we hope you'll join us, take part of it, and let's see each other there as well as at Temple and wherever else we can during this hectic year and hard year. Thanks so much. Hope to see you.
Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come.
Wishing everybody Lashana Tova. Wishing everyone a happy, healthy, sweet, and prosperous 5782. I miss seeing you.
Worshipper, lover of healing, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. So come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle.
Hi, I'm Barry Dreyer, and along with my wife Sandra Jaffe, we wish everybody a Lashana Tova and a good Yontif. For many years, there was a tradition during the Mincha afternoon service of Yom Kippur that our friend Isaac Hirsch would read from the scrolls during the second Aliyah. And he did it with so much passion and in a methodical way with that gruff voice. Unfortunately, he no longer is with us, and recently I've been given the honor of reading during that second Aliyah. So as a tribute to Isaac, I started the tradition of reading the first line in his voice. And the first 2 words of the portion are Ish, Ish. And every time I see his wife Reva or his daughter Cheryl, instead of hello Barry, it'd be Ish, Ish. So be sure to come to Mincha Yom Kippur service and join me, along with everyone, in paying tribute to Isaac Hirsch.
Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come. Tshuva, 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 tshuva. Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are.
Shana Tova, everybody. Welcome to those of you who are here with us tonight, and welcome to everyone who's joining us from home tonight. We hope that we'll all feel together. We can have that sense of community that all of us are craving. So wherever you are, if you're here with us, or if you're at home, please sing loudly. Sing with spirit, with ruach. Breathe deeply and join in with the service. Don't just listen along. The day of Yom Kippur is like a journey, and it is a journey we're on together. We won't walk this path all by ourselves, but we'll do it as a community, as a kehillah, as a holy gathering of people dedicated to each other and to the service that we have. I'll ask that if you're at home, when I say we stand as the ark is open, that you stand at home also, that you bow at home, that you visualize yourselves as part of our service here tonight. Just as we are picturing you, our friends and our family, our community together with us. And let that vision sustain us. Our service begins for Kol Nidre on page 204, and we stand as the ark is opened.
Bum biddy bum 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 namana bum biddy bum namana namana nama 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 namana Zaru ala tzadik ul yishrei lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik ul yishrei lev simcha. Bum biddy bum 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 biddy bum bum biddy bum bum biddy bum bum Bishiva shel mala uvishiva shel mata al da'at hamakom ve'al da'at hakahal anu matirin litpalel im ha'avaryanim Bishiva shel mala uvishiva shel mata al da'at hamakom ve'al da'at hakahal anu matirin litpalel im ha'avaryanim Bishiva shel mala uvishiva shel mata al da'at hamakom ve'al da'at hakahal anu matirin litpalel im ha'avaryanim
205.
Yai dai 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 dai. 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 Kol Nidre Vesarei Vicharamei Vikonamei Vichinuyei Vikinusei Ushavu ishtabana u'reacharimna v'da sarna al nafshatana miyom kipporim zeh ad yom kipporim haba Aleinu letova kulon icharana vehon kulon yehon shiran shrikin shavitin betelin umvutalin la sharirin vela kayamin nidrana la nidre ve'esarana la esare Ushavuatana la shavuot yai dai 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 Kol Nidre Vesarei Vecharamei Vekonamei Vechinuyei Vekinusei Ushavuot Din Darna Tabana u'reacharimna v'da sarna al nafshatana miyom kipporim zeh ad yom kipporim haba aleinu letova kulhon icharana vehon kulhon yehon shiran shrikin shavitin betelin umvutalin la sharirin vela kayamin nidrana la nidre ve'esarana la esare Ushavuatana la shavuot yai dai 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 Kol Nidre Vesarei Vecharamei Vekonamei Vechinuyei Vekinusei Ushavuot Din Darna habana u're'acharina v'dasarna nafshatana miom kippurim zeh ad yom kippurim haba Aleinu letova kulhon icharana vehon kulhon yehon shiran shvikin shevitin betelin umvutalin la sharirin vela kayamin nidrana la nidre ve'esarana la esare u'shavuatana la shavuot yai nai 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 yai nai 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 yai nai 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 yai nai 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 V'ni slach l'chol adat b'nei Yisrael v'lager hagar b'tocham ki l'chol adam bishgaga V'ni slach l'chol adat b'nei Yisrael v'lager hagar b'tocham ki l'chol ha'am bishgaga V'ni slach l'chol adat b'nei Yisrael v'lager hagar b'tocham ki l'chol ha'am bishgaga Salach na lavon ha'am hazeh ki godel chastecha v'chasher nasata le'am hazeh miMitzrayim ve'ad hina ve'sham ne'emar V'yomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha V'yomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha V'yomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh
Amen. The ark is closed, but we stay standing for the Baruch Hu on page 207.
With a song first. Come, whoever you are. Yes, sir. Come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, wanderer, worshipper, lover of healing. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. So come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come. Just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Tshuva, 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 yet again come. Tshuva, 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 yet again come. Tshuva, 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 yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, come. Just come, come, whoever you are, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 come. Whoever you are. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You can be seated, middle of page 207.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid, yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv aravim. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'hem nagei yomam v'layla ve'ahavacha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha Ushartam leot ayadecha ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'v'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim li'yot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem
We join back together in the middle of page 210.
Umachuto biratzon kiblu alehem Moshe uMiriam uvenei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'amru chulam Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai Micha mocha nedar ba'kodesh Nara tehilot osef Malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze'elianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Ne'emar ki fadad Adonai et Yaakov ugalo me'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael
Amen.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Aparei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We stand the middle of page 212.
Ki vayom hazeh yichaper aleichem l'taher etchem mikol chatoteichem lifnei Adonai titaru Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabbah
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayedecho be'Yisrael Ba'gala u'bizman kariv ve'yimeru Amen Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olam Barach v'shabach v'pa'ar v'terman v'naseh v'tadar v'tale v'talal shemei dekudesha
Berechu.
Le'ela, le'ela, mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma ve'imeru, amen.
The Amidah is said quietly, page 213 through 221. If you haven't finished the Amidah, please do so. We turn ahead to page 223, 223.
Ya'ale tachanunenu me'erev ve'yavo shavatenu miboker yanai ve'yera erinunenu ad arev There's like 37 more verses you'll catch on. Ya'ale kolenu me'erev ve'yavo tzidkatenu miboker Yadadadayim ve'yera epidyonenu ad arev Yadadadai nai na 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 nai nai na 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 nai yai na 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 nai Ya'ale inyunenu me'erev ve'yavo slichatenu miboker Yanai ve'yera enakatenu ad arev Yanai yaina na 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 yaina na 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 yaina na 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 Ya'ale minusenu me'erev ve'yavo lima'anu miboker Yanai ve'yera ekipurenu ad erev Yanai yaina na 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 yaina na 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 yaina na 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 Ya'ale yishenu me'erev ve'yavo tehorenu miboker Yanai ve'yera echinunenu ad arev Yanai yaina na 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 yaina na 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 yaina na 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 Ya'ale zichronenu me'erev Yavevo viudenu miboker Ve'yera ehadratenu ad arev Yadadadai yadadadadadai 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 Ya'ale dovkenu me'erev ve'yavo gilenu miboker Yadadadai ve'yera ebakashatenu ad arev Yanai yaina na na yaina na 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 yaina na 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 Ya'ale enkatenu me'erev ve'yavo elecha miboker Yanai ve'yera eilenu ad arev Yanai yaina na 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 yaina na 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 yaina na 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 Shomea tefila adecha kol basar yavou kol basar v'yishachavu lefanecha Adonai yavou v'yishachavu lefanecha Adonai v'yichabdu lishmecha L'chun eranena l'Adonai Naria litzur yishenu Nikad ma'afanav b'todah Bizmiro naria lo yela la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Asher lo hayam vehu asahu vayabeshet yadav yatzaru asher beyado nefesh kochai veruah kol basar ish yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai lai.
Middle of 226.
תעבור על פשעיו תמחה אשם, כיום ויתייצב עמו שם. תאזין שוועתנו ותקשיב מנו מאמר, כיום ויקרא בשם אדוני. ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לעלבים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. Salach lanu avinu ki chatanu, mechalanu malkeinu ki fashanu, ki ata Adonai tov v'salach v'rav chesed l'chol korecha. Yai nai 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 nai. Yana nai 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 nai. We'll sing the first and the last verse together and the rest in English, and you will follow along, hopefully. Ki hine kach omer be'ad hayotzer, birtzoto merchev uvirtzoto mekatzer. Ken anachnu be'adecha chesed notzer, labrit habeit ve'al tefen la'yetzer.
As clay in the hand of the potter who thickens or thins it at will, so are we in your hand, guardian of love. Labrit habeit ve'al tefen la'yetzer. As stone in the hand of the mason who preserves or breaks it at will, so are we in your hand, God of life and death. Labrit habeit ve'al tefen la'yetzer. As iron in the hand of the blacksmith who forges or withdraws it at will, so are we in your hand, supporter of the poor. Labrit habeit ve'al tefen la'yetzer. As the helm in the hand of the sailor who holds the course or abandons it at will, so are we in your hand, good and forgiving God. Labrit habeit ve'al tefen la'yetzer. As glass in the hand of the glazier who shapes or melts it at will, so are we in your hand, pardoner of sin and transgression. Labrit habeit Val Tefen Layetzer. As cloth in the hand of the draper, who drapes or twists it at will, so are we in your hand, righteous God. Labrit habeit Val Tefen Layetzer. As silver in the hand of the smelter, who alloys or refines it at will, so are we in your hand, healer of wounds. Labrit habeit Val Tefen Layetzer.
Ki hine ka kesef be'ahat soref, birtzoto misagseg, birtzoto mitzaref. Kin anachnu be'yadecha, mamsilim azor teref, labrit habeit ve'al tefein layetzer.
Page 229.
El melech yoshev al kisei rachamim, minaheg b'chasidut, mochel avonot amo, ma'avir rishon rishon, marbe mechila lechatayim, uslicha lefoshim, oseh tzedakot im kol basar, baruach lo keratam tigmol. El oreta lanu lomar shlosh esrei, zichor lanu hayom rich shlosh esrei, kmo shedata lenav mekedem kmo shekatuv, ve'erad Adonai be'enan ve'at ve'yityatzev imo sham, vayikra v'shem Adonai.
We stand in the middle of the page.
Vayavor Adonai al panav, vayikra Adonai, Adonai, el rachum v'chanun, erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet, notzer chesed la'alafim, notzer avon v'afesha v'chata v'nakeh. Salach lanu avinu ki chatanu, mechal lanu malkeinu ki fashanu, ki ata Adonai tov v'salach v'rav chesed lechol korecha.
You can be seated at the top of page 231, together in English. Your kindness accompanied me. Even before I came to be, your kindness accompanied me, for from nothing you formed me. Who was it who fashioned me, spun the clay, fired the kiln, hardened me? Who breathed life into me, opened the belly of the deep and pulled me out? Who guided me from childhood to today, gave me understanding, filled me with wonder? Though I am but clay in your hands, was it not you who made me? Truly you, not me. Yet I confess my sins, and I do not say that I was fooled by another who beguiled me. Why would I try to hide my sin from you? For even before I came to be, your kindness accompanied me. The middle of that page.
ממקום חנלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמסך, כבודך מלא עולם. יענה אמסך, ממקום חנלה ונעלם, ואנה לא אמסך, כבודך מלא עולם. דרשתי קרבתך, בכל ליבי קראתיך, ופציתי לקראתך, לקראתי מצאתיך.
232.
El melech yoshev al kisei rachamim, minaheg b'chasidut, mochel avonot amo, ma'avir rishon, marbe mechila lechatayim, uslicha lefoshim, oseh tzedakot im kol besar, baruach lo charatam tigmor. El oreta lanu lomar 13, zichor lanu hayom b'rit 13, כמו שהודעת לעניו מקדם כמו שכתוב וירד אדוני בענן ויתייצב עמו שם ויקרא בשם אדוני ויעבור אדוני על אדוני אדוני רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה, סלח עווננו Salach lanu avinu ki chatanu, mechalanu malkeinu ki fashanu, ki ata Adonai tov v'salach v'rav chesed l'chol korecha.
The bottom 3 lines on page 232.
Salach na levon ha'am hazeh ki godel chastecha, v'cha'asher nisat ha'am hazeh mimitzrayim ve'ad heina, v'sham ne'emar, v'yomer Adonai salachti ki dvarecha.
233.
Shema koleinu, Adonai Eloheinu, chutz v'rachem aleinu, aleinu, v'kabel berachamim, berachamim uvratzon, et tefilateinu. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. Shema Shema koleinu. Shema Shema koleinu. Shema Shema koleinu. Shema 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 koleinu. Al tashlichenu milfanecha v'ruach chodshecha al tikach mimenu. Shema koleinu, Adonai Eloheinu, chutz v'rachem aleinu, aleinu, v'kabel berachamim, berachamim uvratzon, et tefilateinu. Al tashlichenu letzikna kichlot kochenu al ta'azvenu.
page 234. You can be seated.
Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Salach lanu, Mechalanu, Kaper lanu, Ki anu Amecha ve'ata Eloheinu, Anu vanecha ve'ata Avinu, Anu avadecha ve'ata Adonenu, Anu keholecha ve'ata chelkeinu, Ana nachalatecha ve'ata goralenu, Anu tzonecha ve'ata roeinu, Anu charmecha ve'ata notrenu, Anu fe'ulatecha ve'ata yotzreinu, Anu rayatecha ve'ata dodenu, Anu segulatecha ve'ata kiroveinu, Anu amecha ve'ata malkeinu, Anu ma'amirecha ve'ata ma'amireinu, Anu azefanim ve'tarachum v'chanun, Anu kishe oref ve'ata erech apayim, Anu milei avon ve'ata malei rachamim, Anu yameinu kitzal over ve'atahu ushnotecha lo yitamu. Eloheinu v'Elohe avotenu, tavo lifanecha tefilatenu, ve'al titalam mitchinatenu, she'en anachnu azefanim ukshe oref lomer lifanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohe avotenu, tzadikim anachnu v'lo chatanu, aval anachnu v'avotenu chatanu.
We stand for the vidui, the top of page 235.
Yai dai 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 ya dai 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 ya dai 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 Ashamnu Paganu Gazalnu Dibarnu Dofi Yai dai 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 da dai 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 ya dai 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 Heavinu Hirshanu, Zanu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu Sheker, Yai dai 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 dai, Yada dai 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 dai, Yada dai 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 dai, Ya'atznu Ra, Kizavnu, Latznu, Maranu, Niatznu, ya dai 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 da da dai 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 da da dai 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 Sararnu, Avinu, Pashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Oref, ya dai 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 ya da dai 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 ya da dai 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 Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Tainu, Titanu, ya da dai 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 ya da dai 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 ya da dai 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 dai
Turn to the top of page 237. We stay standing for the longer confession, the long litany of Al-Chet. This year, I'm going to ask that we do it in maybe a slightly different way, that we say all of them all together. We don't read them responsively, as if we only did half of the things and the other people did the other half of the things. And that we read them all together in English. After all, It's our opening up about who we are and what we've done. It's our confession that's at the heart of Yom Kippur and that sense of contrition that we're really aiming to achieve today. So together on page 237, let's read them all together in the English. We have sinned against you unwillingly and willingly, and we have sinned against you through hardening our hearts. We have sinned against you thoughtlessly, and we have sinned against you in idle chatter. We have sinned against you through sexual immorality, and we have sinned against you openly and private. We have sinned against you knowingly and deceitfully, and we've sinned against you by the way we talk. We have sinned against you by defrauding others, and we have sinned against you in our innermost thoughts. We have sinned against you through forbidden trysts, and we have sinned against you through empty confession. We have sinned against you by scorning parents and teachers, and we have sinned against you purposely and by mistake. We have sinned against you by resorting to violence, and we have sinned against you by public desecration of your name. We have sinned against you through foul speech, and we have sinned against you through foolish talk. We have sinned against you through pursuing the impulse to evil, and we have sinned against you wittingly and unwittingly. For all these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך ביודעים ובלא יודעים, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
Again, together in the English, at the bottom of 237, we have sinned against you through denial and deceit, and we have sinned against you by taking bribes. We have sinned against you by clever cynicism, and we have sinned against you by speaking ill of others. We have sinned against you by the way we do business, and we have sinned against you in our eating and drinking. We have sinned against you by greed and oppressive interest, and we have sinned against you through arrogance. We have sinned against you in everyday conversation, and we have sinned against you through conspiratorial glances. We've sinned against you through condescension, and we've sinned against you through stubbornness. For all these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רמות, ועל כת שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
We have sinned against you by throwing off all restraint, and we have sinned against you by rashly judging others. We have sinned against you by plotting against others, and we have sinned against you through selfishness. We have sinned against you through superficiality, and we have sinned against you through stubbornness. We have sinned against you by rushing to do evil, and we have sinned against you through gossip. We have sinned against you through empty promises, and we have sinned against you through baseless hatred. We have sinned against you by betraying trust, and we have sinned against you by succumbing to confusion. For all these sins, forgiving God, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך בתשומת יד, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בתימהון לבב, ועל כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
stay standing. And the ark is opened as we turn ahead to page 243 for Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Ein lanu melech ela ata. Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh imanu, Liman shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chazirenu b'tshuva shlema lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, shalach refuah shlema lechole amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, shalach refuah lechole amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, zochrenu b'zikaron tov lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, zochrenu b'zikaron tov lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer gula v'yeshua. Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer parnasa v'chalkala.
Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer parnasa v'chalkala.
Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer zichuyot.
Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer zichuyot.
Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer slicha u'mechila.
Avinu Malkeinu,
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu va'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu va'anenu, Ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu va'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu va'anenu, Ki ein banu masim. Imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu.
Full Kaddish 245.
Yitgadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon uvyom echon uchayedecho be'Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imeru.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam al me'al maya. Yitbarach וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה.
ברכו.
לעילה, לעילה, מקור ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואימרו.
אמן.
יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיים, תתקבל צלותיהון ובאו תהון דכו ישראל, קדם אבוהון דיבי שמעיה, ואימרו.
אמן.
יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו ואימרו.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו ואימרו.
Amen. Outstanding. Erev Tov, Shana Tova. Here we are at the beginning of Yom Kippur at Kol Nidre. But what I want you to think about is the end of Yom Kippur. Right now, our bellies are full. So project forward 25 hours and picture yourself at the end of Yom Kippur. Now, not the break the fast end of Yom Kippur. Don't go there quite so quick. I mean a little bit before that, at the beginning of Ne'ilah, as the gates are beginning to close. And what I'd like you to do at that closed parentheses, that end of the Yom Kippur experience, where usually we begin with Kol Nidre and we end with Ne'ilah, for a moment I'd like you to begin with Ne'ilah, and then we'll end with Kol Nidre. If you're comfortable, I'd like you to close your eyes and picture that you're standing before those gates. Ne'ilah means the closing or the locking of the gates, and it goes back to the first centuries when there were gates in the temple, and on all of the holidays, there would be a time at the end of the holiday where the gates would close, and that was the end. And so as we're standing at Ne'ilah, at that one last moment, one last chance to say whatever we need to say to enter into the new year whole and renewed and returned. And as you picture those gates, I'd like you to think, do the gates of heaven open in towards heaven in your picture? Or do they open outward towards you? Now, there's no right way to picture it. If you search for pictures online of the gates of heaven, trust me, I've done it, you'll find both ways. But just for a moment in your own mind, which way do the gates go? Well, why does that matter, Rabbi? Well, I'd ask you to consider for a moment all the other doorways and gateways that you know about and which way those doors open or close. I went down a little rabbit hole as I was thinking about the gates. I became captivated by that image of the gates and in which way they are closing. Does someone reach outside the gates and pull them in closing themselves off behind them so that we can no longer get in? Or are the gates inward and closed this way, leaving us on the other side? Think about the doors in your own house. Which way does your front door go? Does it open into your house, or does it open out of your house? I'm pretty sure, almost 100% sure, that your front door opens into your house. Almost every front door in America opens that way. And there's actually a reason. There's more than one reason. Your front door opens in part, so that it's easier for people to get in and rescue you if you're in trouble. If there's a fire in your house, it's easier for the fire department to get into your house through your front door if it opens in. It makes sense if you think about the way the door works. Of course, what's funny about that is it might make it easier for anybody else to get into your house. Although actually, it's easier to hold a door shut if it opens in than to hold a door closed if it opens out. Are we trying to keep things out, or are we trying to allow things in? And think about the doors in the hallways of your house. I can almost guarantee you that all of those doors also open in. And there it's just a very practical reason. If your doors open out, someone could be walking down the hallway, and you open the door and smack right into them. These ideas about how the doors open and close in our homes, they're coded into our building codes because they reflect something about the way we live in those houses. You should know, by the way, that there's an exception. In America, the exception is Florida. Not for all the other reasons that Florida is the exception. But in Florida, front doors open out instead of opening in. And it's primarily because of heavy winds and heavy rains that could easily push the door in. And so it's actually more secure there for the door to open out. And when the wind pushes, it keeps the door closed instead of pushing in. Have I confused your picture of the gates of heaven yet? Which way do those gates go? Do they open in? If the gates open in, it's so that they can receive our prayers. The urgency of Ne'ilah then becomes, the gates are closing, and our appeal, our confession, our contrition, our desire to set something behind us and to do better is coming to an end. But if the gates open out, it's for what's inside to come out to us. It's not for us to deliver something upwards towards heaven, but rather for us to receive something, to be open to something, open to a new way in the coming year. And so maybe these gates really aren't about keeping out our voices rising up to heaven in our confession, and maybe they're not about bringing something in towards us. Maybe it's about what we leave behind us, what chapters we close the door on, and what we bring forward with us into the coming year. And that brings us back around to Kol Nidre. In Kol Nidre, it's a strange, totally bizarre prayer, unlike anything else we do. And that's because at its heart, it's really just a legal proclamation. We gather together as if we're a court to hear testimony. And we proclaim Kol Nidre, all of our vows, all the things which defined us, which we said, we swear, this is me. Those things we want to be released from. Now there's an interesting line in Kol Nidre. We say, Miyom Kippurim zeh, from this Yom Kippur, ad Yom Kippur haba, until next Yom Kippur. If you think about it, we're preemptively canceling our promises. Where I come from, that means it's not a promise. You can't preemptively cancel all of your promises in the coming year. Imagine what that's like. Anything I agree to do in the coming year. Well, I did Kol Nidre last Yom Kippur, so I don't have to do it. It frees us from the responsibility for what we say we're going to do, one of the most basic parts of our behavioral integrity. How can we stand on Yom Kippur in judgment, asking for the integrity of our behavior to be judged, and say, and by the way, we're going to cheat all of next year? You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. There's an alternative version of Kol Nidre. It says, Miyom Kippurim she'avar ad Yom Kippurim zeh. I ask for my vows to be nullified not proactively, but retroactively. God, I failed to live up to my promises, to who I said I was going to be. So don't hold me accountable, despite the fact that I fell short of my promises. Well, that's also problematic, because it lets you get away with whatever you got away with, and doesn't actually ask you to be accountable for who you have been. And this may surprise you, but there were many rabbis in many generations who opposed saying Kol Nidre on Yom Kippur night, precisely because it took away the meaning of those prayers that we're trying to get into the gates at the last possible moment. It takes away our own responsibility for our own behavior. If the gates open in, Kol Nidre can't absolve us of our responsibility. Because what we're desperate to get into heaven is the sense of our own contrition. That sense that we genuinely want to do better. Our confession. We're desperate for that to be heard and to be received. The problem with that is that it's all focused on last year. It's all about what we should have done. And yes, we need to spend some time making an accounting and being honest about what we should have done and how we did not live up to our own expectations and to the expectations set for us by our tradition and our highest values. But the gates also open out. They invite us to receive something, to be open to God's influence on us in the year ahead. And they speak not about what we should have done, but what we could do differently. Not about what was, but about what can be. And then, too, it doesn't matter if we cancel our promises. It matters if we set our vision and our agenda on what's ahead instead of what's behind. This year for me, the gates go both ways. I have what to confess. As a community, we have things to repair and to fix and to do differently. As a city, as a country, as a nation, as a people, we are not there yet. We have a lot to still do, and there's a lot we should have done. But the gates also go the other way. And they call to me more than to regret what I should have done, to embrace what I can do better. And to look not only backwards and not only with regret, but to look forward with hope and with optimism that it is truly within my capacity, within our capacity, to do better in the year to come. And so as we begin Yom Kippur, let's close the gates on the past. Let's decide right now what it is we're going to leave behind. Our shame, our regret, our shortcomings, and our failures. We'll confess them, and then we will close the door on them. And then we will be able to open a different kind of gate towards hope and optimism and the future. May it be an easy and a meaningful fast for you. And may our services reach from where they come, from our heart to your heart. Shana Tova. We'll conclude our service with Aleinu, page 246. Please stand.
Aleinu
שלא עזנו גויי ארצות ולא זמנו משפחת אדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגור עלינו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום בשמיים וירסונים.
Tu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz v'yom ha'u yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
Mourners and those observing yahrzeit, if you can, stay standing for the Kaddish, page 247. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Hey Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Good. Before we conclude, what are we going to do, Yigdal?
Sure.
Before we conclude with Yigdal, again, I just want to thank you all for being here tonight and for helping us to make a minyan in the house. And thank you to all of you who joined us tonight from your own homes. I hope we all felt like we were at least as together as we can be. I know it's not ideal, but we're going to go through it together and we're going to make it through. Just a couple other announcements. Tomorrow morning, our services start at 9 o'clock. There's also an alternative service at 9 o'clock through Zoom if you've registered for that. All the schedule for Yom Kippur went out in the weekly email. So if you have any questions, please look at the weekly email that went out, the holiday email that went out with all of the details. A quick word about fasting. Who's supposed to fast? People who are supposed to fast are B'nai Mitzvah, people, Jewish people who are post B'nai Mitzvah, who are able to fast, are supposed to fast. Who can fast? Well, some people don't have to fast, but they may. Some people who are converting to Judaism or interested in becoming Jewish fast before they're Jewish. Some pre-bar mitzvah kids will also fast, and that's okay too. And lastly, who shouldn't fast? Not everybody should fast. Not everybody does fast. That's all right. Fasting is one of the ways we commemorate Yom Kippur. If for any reason you're not supposed to fast, if you're under medical instructions not to fast, if you have to take medicines that require water or food, if you have a serious disorder which requires you to follow an eating plan, you get where I'm going. There are all kinds of reasons why people don't fast. So if you're one of those people, don't fast. The mitzvah for you is to take care of yourself, not to fast. With that in mind, I do hope for those of you who are fasting that it will be meaningful, that you'll find some release from the concern of food in some way that helps us to concentrate more on what's inside and what we already have, and that you have enough. Any other announcements? Anything else we got to say? Anything else for you?
Just a reminder, this information went out in the email today, but due to weather forecasts, the family Shir Chadash service that was originally scheduled for the field at the JCC is now on Zoom. So there's no limit to who can attend. Anybody can join. So come on, Joe. Come on
Please
down.
join us for that. Good. Yishar Koach to Sarah for leading us tonight so wonderfully, really fantastic, just beautiful all around. I think it's a very nice and wonderful way to begin the holiday together. Lastly, I just want to say how grateful I am to be here with you in your congregation and to be a part of this community for Yom Kippur. Again, it's not the way I wanted to do it. I'd like really for all of you to be here and for the sanctuary to be filled and for us all to be together in that way. But that'll be soon enough. And it does not diminish in any way my gratitude to you for the opportunity to be a part of your community and for the opportunity to lead tonight. So thank you, and Shana Tova. We will conclude with Yigdal on page 250. Sing loudest at the end.
All right, let's do it. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach nimsa ve'enei el metziuto echad ve'en yachid ke'ichudo nelam ve'gam ein suf le'achduto ein lo demut haguf ve'eino guf kadman lechol yavar asher nivra rishon ben reshit lereshito hino adon olam v'chol notzar yoreh gedulato umalchuto shefa nevuato netano el anshe segulato v'tifarto lo kam beYisrael k'moshe od navi umabit et emunato Torah temet natan le'amoel al yad nevio ne'eman beito lo yachal Yifrael v'lo yamir dato le'olamim le'zulato tzofeh ve'yodea setarenu mabid lesof davar bekadmato gomer leish chesed kemifalo noten lera kiraishato yishlach leketz yamin meshichenu lifdot mechakechet yeshuato Meitim Yechiel Baruch Chasto Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato Meitim Yechiel Baruch Chasto Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato
Shana
Tova.
Tova. Whichever camera we're looking at.
Did you count how many times I messed up?
If you want me to count next time.
I can't hear you, my thing.
Yeah. Did you see the wink? I knew you were.
Yeah.
That's when he's been running forever and ever. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it too early for me to be hungry already? Probably, right? Okay.
Like thirsty. I don't know how to sing all of this.
Oh, I chugged like a gallon of coconuts.